Like that one?
You've been around long enough. You've been around long enough. You know what the game is.
Huh?
Okay, sweets. Friday's fine with me.
You know what the game is. Snow them with enough bullshit that hopefully they never ask you about it
My
again.
audit committee gets.
Because you didn't understand it the
right
first
on
time,
freaking minute if it's on
and
the
you're like,
early,
no,
so
no. It's
I'm
like,
always
no,
2-3
tell me
minutes
this
late.
stuff.
So I need to
Give me
all
a
that.
chart.
Committee on Government Operations to order.
That would be us.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Commissioner Clark Coleman. Here. Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Killeen.
Yep.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Chairwoman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you so much. Next.
Next item B, approval of the May 22nd, 2019 meeting minutes.
And a motion on the minutes.
So moved. Support.
Thanks. The item's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Item passes. Next item.
Next item C, unfinished business. There is none, Chairwoman.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item D1 under new business, forwarding the Department of Corporation Counsel settlement report for April 2019.
This is the receive and file item on all of the lawsuits settlements. Anybody have any questions as it relates to item D1?
Move to receive and file, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. I got a motion and support to receive and file. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Item passes. Next item.
Next item 2, approval of a modification to a 2-year comparable source contract with a 1-year option to renew with Governmental Consultant Services Southeast LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And I know we have representatives from GCSI with us, and they're going to present us with a little update on what they're doing for us these days. This contract is not to exceed $90,000 to continue to provide lobbying services at the state level. So if you could please introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon.
Tap the button. Tap that. Yep.
Lost my eyesight
Man, I know all
as the
about it.
years continue to go on. Hello, everyone.
Don't worry about it.
I will tell you, I did go to the optometrist and got an appointment, and I thought, and then they said, "No, you're just getting old." And I was like, "Can you just make up something to say there's a problem?" Because I would have rather heard that than I'm getting old. Thank you, Barb Fair. I'm with Governmental Consultant Services (GCSI), and we do your lobbying, help on your lobbying up in Lansing. I am just distributing the May report. We have been doing quarterly reports, and we have since switched to monthly reports. So those have been going out, and hopefully you guys are receiving those. So just a quick update, and then I won't go back. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, just before she starts, I might as well Andrew Kandrivas on behalf of Wayne County Executive Warren Evans. And I do want to point out that normally Amy Gumbrecht, she is also works for the executive. She is tasked with coordinating our efforts in Lansing. She is out right now on leave due to the fact that she had her first child last Friday. So it's good reason she's not here. But I'm doing my best to sub in while she's out with Lansing items. I definitely do not fill her shoes, but Amy's our key contact with Barb, and then also with our crew of lobbyists in coordinating whatever goes on in Lansing and bringing that back here to the Guardian building.
That's called maternity leave.
Yes. What did I say? I'm sorry. I said leave, but
He should. I was gonna say.
I was thinking FMLA.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. And what do you have for us today?
Thank you. As everyone knows, I mean, it's kind of like we're in the middle to give a report. Just to kind of go back, we left lame duck, and now we're into a new session. A new session started with a new governor, as we all know, and a brand new legislature. The splits in the House and Senate became closer between the two parties, so that makes it a lot more bipartisanship that we're seeing, and hopefully will continue, especially at the benefit of Wayne County, where a 58-52 split in the House and a 22-16 split in the Senate. A third of all of the 148 are now new legislators that came in January, so we have a third new people. There are only 9 returning senators in the Senate, and so that's obviously probably one of the lowest numbers. A lot of them were House members that came over, but House members that maybe only served a term or two. So even the Senate, we're to a point where even the Senate is fairly new to Lansing. A few senators that had not served in the House and just came right to the Senate. So a lot of new people. Go ahead.
What's the split in the House?
The split is 58-52. Yeah.
It's a little better.
Yes. Yeah.
58-52, and the Senate was
22-16.
Hopefully we can change those things next year.
right.
I don't know if they got any bills or anything to do that, this term limit, because I've been.
So, yes, not right now. The Senate Majority Leader did bring that up, and you guys probably had saw the reports at Mackinac. He did bring up, that he is interested in looking at a change for term limits. And so there's been some discussion in the last week or so, but there's been no bills yet. And so we'll see if that, can result in any meaningful change so that we can hopefully,
Through the chair, yes.
No. I'm sure he's willing to change it
Yes,
now.
yeah, well, I agree. No, I agree. And he definitely is getting, he's getting hit on that as well from that side.
Get hit worse
Yes,
than that. That's
yeah.
why he wants to change it.
Yeah, so, yeah, and it can't be, can't be self-serving. Whoever's going to lead the change, it can't be a self-serving change. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So nonetheless, we ended lame duck last year. It was a lot of defense, a lot of defensive moves. Definitely killed a lot of bills that would have been harmful to Wayne County. Bills like the redistribution of the money that we get to Coble Hall, that a lot of the Upper Peninsula wanted to take, that we defeated. People that wanted to change, the immunization issue, which is a huge issue for Wayne County that we defeated. There were just a lot going on that we had to make sure did not make it through that lame duck, and we were very successful. Had a good budget year last year. We're hoping and we're working right now to do that again, and let me just get into that for a quick second. Because we have a new governor, the budget started a little bit later than usual, because she had to come in and do a brand new budget for her first term. So it got presented not late, and so I want to say it was late. She got it, in on time from when she needed to. It was just later because it's her first term. So the budget process has really just started in Lansing. The governor presented her budget, and I had sent out information. There's some more in this report as well, but I had sent some out when she did present it. And then the Senate just really started, they moved their budgets. The House is just moving their budgets right now. And so until the House really moves their budgets, as we all know, we're just beginning to start to negotiate. Wayne County, we do have some priority asks that we've worked with the governor's office on and our delegation, and we're working with the Republican leadership as well to hopefully get some money directed to Wayne County for a wide variety of issues. So we'll keep you posted on that as it continues down. We expect that this will go through the summer. They will not, get this budget done by July 4th. They may break for a few weeks in July, and then they'll come back after that and work until the budget is done, hopefully before the deadline.
Gotcha. Any questions as it relates to that item? Commissioner Kleen.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to be clear on what we're doing here. I was trying to read this. We had a contract with, and I'll get it wrong, GCSI or GIC.
You hit it right.
I got it right. In 2016, It looks like it was a 2-year, and then we got another one in 2018. Now, what are we doing today? Are we just extending the 2018 contract for one more year? This is the way I'm reading it, and adding a 1-year option at the end of that? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're being asked to do?
Chair, Kevin Kavanaugh from the Office of Corp Counsel.
okay.
This is just a straight 1-year extension.
So it's still under, we're just extending last year's contract for a year?
In essentially, yes.
Okay. Because I did see some comment about adding or having a 1-year option. Is there a 1-year option still in there?
No, the contract that was approved in 2016 was a 2-year
Yeah.
contract that included a 1-year renewal option, which was exercised
Last year.
last year.
So
So now-
that put an end to the contract. That was, the contract ran out after that,
Under that structure, right? But
Right.
This just modifies.
and so now we're
the contract
modifying that contract to add one more year.
But this does not include an express renewal option. So if
So it's a pure 1 year.
1 year and then.
Okay.
Right.
And I picked up on your comment, Ms. Fair, about doing lobbying for us. Have you ever met with the chair of the Wayne County Commission and taken any direction on commission priorities in Lansing?
I have contact with the Commission's office and her staff. I've not met with her directly as of yet, but we do have constant connection with her staff. Happy to come down and meet with the chair or really
Well, I think so,
anybody.
because
Yeah.
I think, the way this has been phrased, I'm in a legislative body, you've been in a legislative body.
Yes.
When I hear when I hear people refer to the lobbying contract as for the county, I say, no, for the executive branch of government, not necessarily the legislative. And so I've been trying to figure out and encourage how more of those discussions can take place.
Yeah.
Because there are things that are going on up there in terms of lobbying that it's not really wise to have them for public consumption. I don't know if the chair of the commission really knows everything that you're working on up there, but I'm trying to open the door so that the Wayne County Commission also has lobbying. I don't know how that would fit under the contract and the way it's written, but it concerns me a little bit that even in terms of reporting, as we know from Washington and stuff, right, that certain members of Congress get the top secret briefings. I'm not sure that that's happening here at all. And I certainly would like the chair of the Wayne County Commission and my counsel, sworn to secrecy, to know everything that's going on up there. I think that's just, so I don't know if there's a modification that's needed to the contract. I'm not prepared for anything today, but I'm just putting that on the table, my annual plea.
I hear you. We are, of course, open, to whatever is
Sure.
the pleasure of the body. And as you all know, and I have, long-standing personal relationships with all of you, that you can call anytime on any issue, and we are happy to address that for you.
Well, I think it's good if it's done formally, contractually, rather than just an ad hoc thing. So, something I'll look into. But just making that comment for today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I think it's an interesting comment, and I appreciate it, because I do think, when they say Wayne County, people assume that it's all of Wayne County, and we make up half of that equation. We're supposed to. And so we should be considered in that process. It would be really a good thing to start on this side where we had conversation with our chair to say, these are the issues that are being brought to our attention. Can you get answers from them? And then you don't have 15 of us calling you all the time. But though I appreciate your open door policy, and you've always been great. But I'm just saying it would be great to create a mechanism to Commissioner Colleen's point, that as a commission, that we're able to put our concerns forward and get them to you and see, if they're on the radar in Lansing, if there's something we need to do, if it's something that we may be on the same page with the administration with, or maybe it's something that's not on their radar yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And needs to be. Okay, great. Well,
If I may, Madam Chair.
yes.
Since this is purely a one-year extension
Mm-hmm.
with no option year after that.
Yeah,
that
going
means
forward,
the
we should,
contract, there'll be a new contract next year.
we'll have an
And that's
opportunity.
the opportunity, so
I would agree.
I've taken note of that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions on, to this point, and we're going to let her continue. You jumped right to, you told us the makeup of the body, and then, are you going through your report?
I will. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
been, because we're just at the beginning of a session, and I'll be brief because I know you guys got other things on the agenda. Auto no-fault reform really has really consumed the legislative side of things up until this point. As you all have been watching, that issue, the governor did sign that bill when she was up at the Detroit Chamber Policy Conference. I think she just signed yesterday the trailer bill to fix some of the dates. And so that issue, we do expect trailer bills in the fall, but pretty much they have, they finally have moved on from that. Had some meetings last night with legislators, and same thing, they were saying, yeah, finally that's done, we can look at other issues. So really, even though we're in June, it's almost like the legislative side of things are really just starting to kick off, and the budget is the main priority, with obviously the governor and the Democrats looking at roads. There's a lot of other issues that Wayne County needs to be concerned with in that budget, and we are on top of those. Legislative-wise, though, there hasn't been anything off of that news. Hasn't been anything, crazy happening. There's a few bills in there that I've noted that we are working on, and we are engaged in on behalf of the county. Raise the age is one of the biggest ones, but to be honest, it's not the policy of that bill that is the issue, it's the funding of the bill. So even that bill that is a policy issue, the concerns go back to funding.
Sure.
So.
Do you have any projections on any of these issues? Can you kind of give us a lay of the land as far as you feel like any of them are going anywhere? How your conversation, I never was elected in Lansing, but I was a lobbyist in Lansing. So, how are you feeling about, you making any inroads with the Raise the Age or the funding for Raise the Age?
We are. No, we
Okay.
absolutely are. We had proposed some language to the chairs of the House and Senate Judiciary, and they're looking that over to see if those are changes we would, that they would be considered making. And I do feel good about those conversations that we have had with them to make sure that we are not left, so holding the bag on that. It's the same thing. I know Commissioner Killeen is working very hard on the mental health issue. It's another big hole that we fixed last year. It was $4.5 million that we would have been left without, and we worked really hard to get that $4.5 million hole filled, and we did, but we're still at the same point this year, so we need to do that again.
Another conversation to have.
Yeah, so we're, so there's a lot of policy issues that all,
Comes down to funding.
comes down to funding. Yes.
I love it when they pass policy issues and then they'll
Yes.
fund them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that puts us really in a bind.
Yes.
So with the road project, the proposal that she put out, I attended one of hers in Livonia. She's been kind of going around with the head of MDOT
Yes.
to explain her proposal. I don't know if any of you had her come to your districts. Is she getting anywhere on the other side of the aisle over there?
Not 45 cents.
Okay.
But I think that she'll get somewhere. Now, the House did come out with a proposal yesterday that is not very favorable. I'll shoot something out to everybody today on that. I'm sure you'll see it, and they were taking money from transit and different places, and a lot of groups immediately jumped on that. I would just say that is the starting point. They put out budgets, not just in transportation, but on a lot of different departments from the House that are not viewed favorably by many people. But they came out way more conservative than the Senate side. I don't know if they're playing a good cop, bad cop right now, but everything needs to be signed by the governor. And so they know that they have to work through that process. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Okay, very good. And then I'll let you continue to work your way down. You're looking at increase, these are the things you're fighting for, the increase of revenue sharing?
yes. That was just kind of a basic list and no particular order that, we are watching for and working on for the county.
Yeah, we just saw that we lost 500,000 in revenue sharing last year. So we are, of course, hoping that you're successful with that. Infrastructure, resources, investments for Aerotropolis, Willow Run. Is that even on their radar?
It is on their radar, and we've been working through MEDC as well to get some resources through there to put over in that area.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you gave us a list of this, but if you could give us something that just gives us a blurb, so
Okay.
I don't have to, so everybody, not
Yep.
just the people on this committee, and
Yep.
we could get it to our staff.
Yep.
Just kind of give us an update on where you are on
Okay.
some of these issues, that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I can just tag on to that, it's been my function, when the reports come in from both from CRUB and GCSI, Amy gets them, she sends them to me, and they had been quarterly up until this point. I would send it to Pam Lane, and then Pam would distribute it.
Okay.
So we'll continue to start doing that now on a monthly basis, since
Okay.
that's shifted.
Okay, wonderful. I'll look for that. So it comes from you. I saw the ones from Karub. I didn't see the one from GCSI. Okay.
I'll move this item for approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have a motion and I have support. The rest, any other, I mean, I appreciate all these highlights. These are excellent that you gave us here, Barb. I just got this, so I didn't know what was in it. So it looks like rather than have you go through all this stuff, we can just read it. And if we have any questions, we can contact you.
Yep.
Okay, unless anybody else has any questions at the table and will speak through the rest of you. Everybody else good on this? Okay, I have a motion and support. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, item passes. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. It's great to see everybody.
Keep up your great work.
Thank you.
Next item?
Next, item 3, approval of a modification to a 2-year contract with Lewis and Monday PC.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My name is Bruce.
There you go.
There you go.
My name is Bruce Campbell, and I'm with the Office of Corporation Counsel in the Labor and Employment section, and I'm covering for Gwen DeYoung, who is out this week.
I'm Hans Massaquoi from the law firm of Lewis and Monday.
Okay.
And we are here on a contract extension. The amount would go from $35,000 to $85,000, and the term of the contract remains from March of 2019 through March 18th of 2021. And I believe what's been billed to date is approximately $13,635.
So you're still under the amount that was originally you were able to do without our approval? The original 35, or are you 13,000 into the 50,000 you're asking us for today? 13 into the 35, the original 35. Oh,
Yes.
Then you're fine. That's fine. We appreciate that. Okay. Commissioner Clean. Commissioner Clean, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you just briefly outline this case, and do I read this right, that the county treasurer is a defendant here?
Yes, I'll let Mr.
If you can just
Massaquoi.
briefly, I know you can't talk everything, but just briefly, what is the structure of this case? What's the issue involved?
The issue is simply this: there's an allegation by a former county employee that Mr. Sabri or someone in his office terminated the plaintiff because she refused to notarize a document
Okay.
That's basically.
You don't have to go further than that. What's the damages that are being asked?
At this point, they have not given us a number. We've begun to talk about possibly going to mediation on the case, but they have not given us a number.
Okay.
If I may, I want to add one fact that would not, the plaintiff is Janet Taylor, which may mean nothing to you, but Janet Taylor is the former HR director, Tim Taylor's wife.
Oh, okay.
All right. And if I may, Madam Chair, I hate to surprise Commission Counsel here a little bit, but I do have a question on this. There's an ethics disclosure on the green sheets regarding this, that on that ethics certification, there's a question, has your company been debarred by the feds, the state, or any local government or authorities? The response was, on February 19, 2014, the firm was notified it was debarred by the New York State Thruway Authority, although the firm had obtained a New York State disability endorsement. When reached by the authority, the firm had paid the fine. The authority asserted that the payment was an admission. I don't know what all of that means, Counsel. Does that give you any pause, or is that just more routine lawyer stuff? No, I'm asking my counsel.
Yes.
Through the chair, this is the first I'm hearing of it. It doesn't give me cause. I would imagine that Corp Counsel is aware and has determined that the firm is qualified to perform the services at hand.
Yeah, that's right there. You know, I know sometimes these things come up, and some have more meaning than others. I was just probing the...
Sure. Oh, but she's being represented by Michael Pitt. I beat him, you can.
We don't know the facts behind the situation, so at this point, I can't say there's cause for concern, not understanding exactly why they were debarred. I don't know if...
All right.
I do not know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I could easily find out what that is. I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with this. We do work in several other states.
Yeah.
And
Well, I would just like to know the meaning of it, right? We're doing the public's business. Does Corporation Counsel have a view on this? Or I know you're pinch hitting today, so maybe there's another attorney in Corporation Counsel that's closer to this?
Well, there is somebody who's closer to this in terms of following the Taylor case. I don't know the facts and circumstances, but I do know that, Lewis and Monday is through the procurement ordinance, on our approved list.
Right.
I've been at the county for approximately 11 years. Prior to that, I worked for the City of Detroit Law Department, and I can tell you Lewis and Monday had, long-standing services to the City of Detroit in many different capacities.
I've got a job like you do, Counselor. I just want to, I see something
No,
like
no,
this
I
come
see
up,
that.
and I want to know that there's not the law of unintended consequences at play here that might
I
come
understand.
back. So that's why I'm seeking an opinion from someone that
Wanna make a
says,
comment?
yeah, this is cool, or no, it's something we got to worry about.
Right, if the firm sends us the, background information, obviously we would forward it to commission and
Okay.
commission staff.
If you could do that, then.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to do it here, but if you could do that, then just clarify that. I'd appreciate. I think we
Commissioner
should all
Clark.
appreciate. Thank you,
Sure.
Madam.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've known Lewis and Mundy for eons of years. They are a reputable company, and they do wonderful work. So I'm going to move approval of this.
And I'll support it because when I was mayor of Highland Park, they were my attorney.
Oh, wow. Well, okay. That's always good. I've got a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Next item.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time to come.
Item 4, approval of a retroactive modification to a 2-year contract with Alliant Insurance Services, Inc.
Say hey to Ruben for me. Thank you.
And we were warned about this. This retroactive contract, because it's barely retroactive, but it's retroactive, and I know you told us it was coming.
Good afternoon. Claire Mason Lee, here in the capacity of Director of Risk Management.
Good morning. Through the chair, Michael Cato, Assistant Division Director of Risk Management and Administration.
So what you have before you today is the insurance renewal for the workers' compensation policy that we have. It's a 2-year policy. It was effective May 1st, and I'm open to answer any questions that you have.
Well, I think that I want to, before I go to that, I just want to reiterate that it's something that you had mentioned before with these contracts. I know that you're trying to move all of these contracts that are scattered all over the year with their terms to a July date so that you
Correct.
can negotiate them all at once and have better leverage. So that's one of the reasons why we've got these retroactive contracts and we kind of got these goofy short terms and you're kind of reorganizing. Is that correct?
That's correct, and also something that I've mentioned for a while now, since I joined the county 4 years ago, is that insurance quotes will never be received months ahead of time.
30 days. Yeah.
30 days if we're lucky, and then if we have an insurance carrier that has additional questions after the application is submitted, then we have to respond to that, and that is what happened with the workers' comp renewal. We do have a meeting with your council tomorrow and commission staff tomorrow, because every single time we bring these forth, it's listed as a modification of the contract with Alliant. This is not a modification. Alliant is our insurance broker for property and casualty, and they are under a 5-year contract. This is what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to go out and get quotes from us, for us, and we renew the insurance based upon the satisfactory quote that we receive and the coverage that we receive. So why it's set up as a modification every single time, I don't know, and we're trying to rectify that. So I appreciate that the commission staff and your commission council is willing to meet with us. We've been talking about it for over a year now, maybe longer, because I bring it up every time I have to bring one of these forth. But we finally have an opportunity to meet and hopefully resolve it so you won't continue to see it this way. But I also do have a question for the body in regards to referring to this as retro, because again, and I'm just looking at the ones that came before us that also had dates starting before it came to this board, so I'm not sure why ours is considered retro and the other two are not. Just a curiosity, because I just want to make sure I have a good understanding of the definition of retroactivity.
Good question. Somebody like to answer it?
I will make an effort, though. I didn't draft the agenda, so I can't tell you what's labeled as retro or not. But the definition of retroactive is not based on the date. It's generally based on performance. And that is something that we're actually working with Commissioner Basham to clarify for countywide so everyone's clear. So we've actually already met with the administration and Corp Council to draft some clarifications to that definition so it's more clear for everyone across the board, including our staff, and those will be coming shortly to committee for review.
And so if it's based on performance, and thank you for that, we do not lapse in the performance for insurance coverage for any property and casualty. I cannot let that happen at all. So there's been not 1 minute that we were not covered in case there was any incident that happened that needed a workers' compensation claim filed.
Oh, well, that's good to know. And our commission staff would like to respond to that as well.
Joe Slezak, Commission staff. The reason why GCSI and Lewis and Mundy were not considered retro, GCSI actually stopped services in May. When according to what Chris, the answer that Chris got, they had stopped services, so we weren't paying for. Basically, they had stopped services until this is going to be approved by full board. And then with Lewis and Mundy, the reason why it wasn't listed as retro, I mean, the contract goes back to March. It was authorized by the administration under the procurement ordinance as $35,000, and they have not exceeded the $35,000 from what they told us. They've only spent 13 something, so they're not retro with that either. So.
Okay, so that was in this particular state, just for the record, appreciate the explanation. The administration can make those decisions, and if we're not exceeding the 35,000, we're not exceeding the authority that you already have. Mm-hmm. It's when you exceed the authority they already have, where we would have needed to approve it, and you haven't gotten to us yet, that it becomes retro. But it sounds like you got our commission council. I got the nod when you said you were talking. I looked at Felicia; she gave me the nod. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you're working on this. I know Commissioner Basham, did you have any other questions, or were they answered in the course of the conversation?
No, just generally speaking, though, and I'll continue to try to, we need to understand what departments are going through and trying to get things done, but I guess my thing is, just generally speaking, is other folks need to know what we're going through, and in fact, if we vote on a contract that's already been let and we owe monies for a contract, and I'm generally speaking here, then we're not doing our job.
I agree.
And to do our job, I'll continue to oppose when I can to send a message about retroactive contracts to be consistent, and then hopefully we can get this thing resolved to work. Again, you have 30 days, you say, with the insurance company, but if that's the case, why can't you bring it in front of the commission and ask for approval, those kinds of things? I'm saying
There's other ways.
We had an item that come before us in a different committee this morning that is a result of something 2 years ago. And it's like, so why does it take us so long, the county, to deal with contracts, procurement ordinances? We have an obligation to clean it up, so I'm just going to be, and I know it'll pass, but I'm going to be a no vote because it's retroactive.
Well, again, and thank you for that. Again, the issue that I have is that these aren't contracts, but this is the format that it's been going through to commission, and we're trying to get this corrected because the contract with Alliant is in place. It's a 5-year contract, and they are doing what they're supposed to do, is place the insurance policy. However, the POs, the blanket orders that we get, are only fulfilled with the amount for the year of the policy. So every single time we're coming back
I
to
see.
say,
It's got its own individual nuances that
Correct.
are unique. And so you need to work with that, so to be able to present us in a way where it's really not right, because like you said, this is an existing contract. It's not a new contract. It's being
Correct.
put before us that way, but that's really not what it is. Okay, I got it. Commissioner Clean.
Yeah, I look forward to that being resolved, because this is an insurance broker.
correct, Alliant is.
This policy is not with Alliant. This policy is with what the broker is recommending.
Safety National, correct.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago that we lost track of our broker around here, and that caused all sorts of problems with expiring contracts. I want to say 6-8 years ago, we lost track of our broker for a while. A policy ran out, or a contract ran out, and we were without a broker for a certain period of time. So yeah, let's get that
Straight.
solved on the retroactivity and the unique nature of this contract. Was it moved yet?
No.
I'll move it for approval.
Thanks. I got a motion to support, but also our fiscal advisor would like to make a comment, Mark Abbo.
And I appreciate, through the chair, Claire, your willingness to meet with us to talk about these issues. But just to clarify, I mean, there's a difference between a broker and a carrier, and our relationship may extend to not just one of them, but to both of them. And sometimes, a broker may place the insurance, although we may have a contract with the carrier, or vice versa. And so if there's a responsibility of the broker or of the carrier to the county, and that's a contractual relationship, that's why this is so important. Because although we do have a contract with Alliant, we've got to siphon through those issues where we deal only with Alliant, and they're the ones that deal with the broker versus vice versa, or if there's any kind of a loop that comes back to the county because of the type of insurance that we're looking for. So those are the things that we want to get clarified tomorrow, and hopefully we can deal with those issues, and on a going forward basis, deal with how we want to through our council determine what type and level of approval is needed by the commission.
Absolutely.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I have a motion and a support for today. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Protest? No.
Nay. One nay from Commissioner Basham. Item passes. Next
Thank
item.
you.
Next item E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Any such other matters? Any such other matters? Not hearing any? Next.
Item F, public comments.
Any member of the public that would like to make a comment? Any member of the public that would like to make a comment? Thanks for coming, Claire, and thank you too. Appreciate you, Michael. Any member of the public that would like to make a comment? No? Hearing none.
Item G, adjournment.
Thank you. Moved and supported. We're adjourned. Thank you. That was relatively painless.
Hey, Martha, you see that email we got today about the Joe Louis Trail?
I haven't had my email.
Yeah, we got an email today. They're looking at a 31-mile Joe Louis Trail to go around the city.
Community meeting next Tuesday.
Oh, maybe that's what they
And
were
also,
talking
they do the
about.
thing on the update on the
I
Hawthorne
thought
Valley
it had something
project.
to do with the riverfront. Is
Joe
that-
Louis Greenway
And did Wayne
Vision.
send them to us?
Oh, no,
And
no, they're on.